Good morning or good afternoon, depending on which period you're in. Today's Bellwork talks about how I know it's been a while since we started this South Asian unit. We did a couple days before spring break, and then, now it's over a week later. So I want you to write down these facts in your Bellwork box just to act as a little reminder for some of the things we have already covered. So it's not really a question, you're just writing down these facts. In 500 BCE, South Asia had many overlapping states. We saw a map of them. They were displayed in different colors, kind of looked like a rainbow. In 450 CE, South Asia was unified into two large empires, the Vakatakas and the Guptas, right? So we looked at that again the week before spring break. So take a moment, pause this video, and jot that down for your Bellwork. All right, today's lesson is called the Gupta Empire. So we're going to learn about the Gupta Empire and then its revival of Hinduism in India. In this lesson, we're going to explore the Gupta state and the Gupta's tradition of sponsoring Hinduism, as well as the arts and sciences. In typical fashion, you're going to jot down what you see, think, and wonder for each of the following sources, and then they each also have a question. All right, so source 7, these are comments by Marcus du Sautoy, the professor of mathematics at the University of Oxford, on the origins of the symbol of zero. It was published in 2017. Says, today we take it for granted that the concept of zero is used across the globe and is a key building block of the digital world. But the creation of zero as a number in its own right, which evolved from the placeholder dot symbol found in Bakhshali manuscript, was one of the greatest breakthroughs in the history of mathematics. We now know that it was as early as the 3rd century that mathematicians in India planted the seed of the idea that would later become so fundamental to the modern world. The findings show how vibrant mathematics have been in the Indian subcontinent for centuries. It gives you a footnote, and I've gone over this in class, but I'm not sure how well I've covered this in my e-learner, for my e-learners. So when you see an asterisk, which is like that little star, or any kind of symbol kind of like hidden in the writing, so this one, shouldn't have picked green, then it's just telling you that there's a note at the bottom about that. So the note is about this, right? So it says that Bakhshali is a famous Indian artifact documenting mathematics as early as the 3rd or 4th century CE. On your worksheet, it says, according to Du Sautoy, or the author of these comments, how did humanity's understanding of mathematics change in the 3rd or 4th century? So you may have to pause it. It's on your worksheet as well. Reread it to answer that question. Do so and then come back to me. Source 8 is an excerpt from J. Michael McKnight, Kingship and Religion in the Gupta Age, published in 1976. He said, prior to the rise of the Guptas, the political landscape of northern India consisted of numerous small kingdoms and republics, right? We mentioned that in the Bellwork. There was no one umbrella over the vast territory of northern India, and the Guptas rose in the space of a few generations from obscurity, meaning like not really being known, to overlordship of India from sea to sea. So they're saying that the Guptas gained control over these lands. In retrospect, the ascent of this family to supremacy seems phenomenal. In regard to administration, that's like the way they run their government, the Guptas retained the traditional bureaucratic administration similar to the pattern established by the Mauryans. Remember, that was the other large empire that we talked about in South Asia. However, in general, the king was more glorified and exalted in Gupta times. The king is referred to as superhuman and depicted with a halo on the coins. The Gupta age provides the first well-documented instance of Ramarajya. Y'all know I don't speak other languages. The Hindu conception of ideal government in Indian history. And then again, we see a footnote, and it says the Rama Rajya was the mythical ruler of Rama, a major Hindu deity, which means like a god, who was the 7th incarnation of the god Vishnu. Number 2, so hopefully you're doing your initial observations. I should have reminded you that for source 7, but pause it, do your initial observations. But for the second question, it says, how does source 8 describe the Guptas? So how do they describe these people? I put these images here just to show you. If you look on the one on the left, these are the halos that they're describing. And the one on the right, so those are their coins. All right, source 9, easy. It is an image. It's a recent picture of one of the oldest surviving Hindu temples, what was built in the 5th century. I can speak, guys, I can. 5th century CE. And again, CE means like AD or after the year 0, right? So during the 400s. During the Gupta Empire, located in present-day Bittargan. You guys come at me with these pronunciations. India. How does the source pictured here relate to sources 7 and 8? This one's a little tough. Take some higher order thinking. You may have to be a little creative with your answer, but do your best. Also, again, I should have said this in the beginning, remember to do your initial observations. What do you see, think, and wonder? Lastly, using the information provided by the sources, I want you to revise each pair of simple sentences into a single, sophisticated claim supported by detailed evidence. So for example, the first one is they invented it, it was important. These are the type of responses I get all the time. They invented it, it was important. That is such an elementary answer that you should be well advanced beyond in 9th grade by this point. So who invented what? Why was it important, right? Give more details, okay? And then number 2 is they did some things the same, they did some things differently, all right? So rewrite these into sophisticated claims, it says, just with more detail, okay? When you're done, you actually have a crossword. I know that you guys struggled with the last one. A lot of you just like straight up didn't do it. This one's easier in the sense that it only uses evidence from these 3 sources. You can go into these 3 sources and find the answers to the clues and fill out the crossword. If you are using a computer or a device, I still expect you to do it. Don't skip it. So whether you have to literally rewrite that on paper or find a way to do it on your phone, I don't care if it's a little messy, figure it out, but you guys got to do it. All right, that's it. Bye.